Prashant sir, good evening.
Good evening, madam.
बेटकर सर ने
You
भी
are
आपको
welcome.
विश किया.
You are welcome, madam. Resource person for today's session is on dais Honorable Jigna Jagdish Khoyani, madam. To you, madam, for the session. I welcome the chief organizer of the series, our ideal principal, sir, M.M. Bedkar, sir. I welcome the faculty members of my college and all those dear participants. The topic for today's presentation is need for digital and subject integrations. Now this topic, as I have mentioned, Honorable Jina Jagdish Khoyani madam is going to present. She is serving as a principal, Lotus School at Ahmedabad. So with this brief introduction, now I request you, madam, please start your presentation on the topic need for digital and subject integration. You are most welcome, madam.
Thank you so much, Prashant sir, for the warm welcome. Thank you, Bedkar sir. It's always been an honor to speak on this platform. And it was my honor to be a part of Series 1 also. Now, today when we are here, it's more about education and there'll be a few questions. Request all the participants to be a little interactive when we are going to go ahead with this. I don't want to start with a presentation kind of stuff, but there are a lot of questions that we need to answer as educationists and serving and creating citizens for tomorrow. My first question to begin here is, why is NEP emphasizing on integrating subjects? Any idea why? I really would love to understand if we have people who know why NEP after 34 years, and when, if it is after 34 years, the first thing they said is integrate subjects. So you can put it in the chat or unmute yourself and think about it, that why subject integration is so very important. Anybody? Yes, participants, should I reiterate my question? I actually want to understand why NEP is saying that you need to integrate subjects when you're teaching. So in the sense, art integration into maths and science, holistic development is what Seema Malik ma'am says. Anybody else?
Good evening. It calls for collateral thinking, wherein a child thinks from all different perspectives.
Perfect. Collateral thinking. Yes, something which we have heard even in our childhood, and this is what I was looking for. Thank you so much, Ms. Disha. And, Vilas Namne sir, yes, lot of changes, critical thinking. But moreover, parallel thinking and parallel applications of stuff is not being done. We always used to have quizzes and activities where parallel thinking was instigated when we were at our schools. State board schools did instigate a lot of this. But today, when rote learning came in too much, a lot of emphasis only was on marks. I want to ask everybody present here, how much of the content that you learned at your school are you able to apply in your real life? Is it like 30%, 40%, 80%, or is there somebody who's actually applying 100% of what you have learned at your school in your real life? Yes?
No, madam. No, madam.
And when this no comes in was the reason for the change and the call for NEP. If we cannot use what we have learned in school, are we saying that 16, 18 years of our life were just for nothing? Those were the precious childhood years where we were like an absolute sponge, and we were supposed to grasp, grab, and understand and build on ourselves, build on our thinking. That is the time that you can mold anybody. We say after being an adulthood, molding your thinking, changing your thinking pattern is going to take time. But a child can be molded very easily. And if that is the case, why so many subjects? Do we live our life by subjects? Do we live our life today? I will live science. Tomorrow I will live English. And then let me live a little bit of English grammar. And then let me little bit of chemistry here and there. And maybe a physics tomorrow. Is our life actually done like that? So why is the study like that? What is the reason for compartmentalizing our study pattern? But if I go ahead and ensure that I teach the child a part of literature, how to create good, beautiful sentences of a mathematical question rather than saying it a mathematical word problem. There are a few giveaways that I want to tell the teachers who are present here. Why do you want to say it is a word problem? The moment you've said problem is where exactly your child is. Imagine, we as adults don't want to listen to that word problem. So if I have parents out here, the first tip of the day, parents, ensure it is just like an English question, it's a mathematical question. Put in words, because maths is more about symbols and numbers and everything. So if we can just say that it is a mathematical question, why does it have to be a word problem? Second on from here, if I can have my child put the sentence of a mathematical question, word it correctly, grammatically, express himself. Have I not completed financial literacy correctly? I have taught finance, I have taught literacy, and my financial literacy is done. And we keep on saying, no, today is English lecture, and then you go on to your maths lecture. Is he not going to use language everywhere? Without English, how is the child going to study? So English is something which is integrated into our topics, and we still understand that language should be taught separately. Are we here to only create authors? Are we here to only create those people who are going to create content? English is just a part of their everyday life. And if my child can point out adjectives, nouns, pronouns in any kind of content or in any textbook that he or she is reading, have I not done justice to the language to be taught? And he knows where to use an adjective, how to use an adjective. A simple thing that I want to ask over here. How many times have we told a child the difference between numerals and ordinals? In fact, do we also know that what exactly we are trying to write and how we are trying to write? How many times have you told the child to write number 1 to 10 from top to bottom? But does that mean when he's written the number 1 to 10 from top to bottom, it is in the ascending order and you've made him write top to bottom? You have jeopardized the entire clarity of ordinals. You've jeopardized the entire clarity of ascending and descending. So why can I not write point number 1 from the lowest part of the notebook? Can I write that? How many of you say a yes? If I can see thumbs ups going up. Is it always that the first point has to be written on the top? Yes, then we are talking about ordinals. But does point number 1 need to be written on the top? No. The first important point needs to be written on the top. And that is where I've forgotten to discriminate and tell them the first point and point number 1. So these are the smallest things. How many times, if I may ask, if we have mathematics teachers out here, how many times have you told your child that graph does not need to be at the corner of the left page, but in the middle page also? Because tomorrow when he goes to college, his graph never starts from the corner, but from the center of the graph page. To more over it, you always teach the number line in a horizontal format. When is the child going to understand that in my graph, the number line is going to come in the vertical format? And why do we not, relate negative numbers to the layers of the earth? Because how many times in a lift does a child ask, Mama, what is that -1 written over there? And he does not understand this because he never saw a vertical number line which would say -1 is below the ground level. -2 is more below that ground level. How many times we travel to a mall and do we make the child realize that you are below actually the level of earth? Parents and teachers out here, if we can do these small real life things, believe me, we can just go ahead and create better parallel thinkers, and they will have more critical thinking than us. Because this is the Gen Z that you're catering to, very frankly speaking. I'm sure each one of you who has a kid out here knows that the kid more efficiently uses your mobile than you use his or her your own mobile. Am I correct? Yes. Now, going forward from here, if subject integration is so important, you would ask me, ma'am, where is my child going to use chemistry in day-to-day life, and how can I go ahead and explain what kind of chemistry is very important for him to understand? How many times have we thought that cooking has more chemistry than anything else in daily life? How many times you've connected the food to the acid and the alkali part? How many times you have told them that this kind of food is going to cause the acidic issues that you may have? And then we want to talk about healthy and junk food, but have we discriminated? We've seen so much of obesity today. Why? Where is our own thought of ensuring that what your body needs, equal amount of acidic food, equal amount of alkaline food? And what is we are more about naturopathy, and we are more about, but where is that simple thought of breaking down the healthy food for a child? We teach healthy food and junk food very easily, but where is the chemistry linked to the food? The acidic and the basis part of a chemical reaction, which is so very well defined in our chemistry. How many times have we told them that why a mother is going to add Eno soda when she's baking that idli or the dokla? And which is the staple food of the South, which is the staple food of a few parts of the North, or maybe the bread, which is the most commonest thing. And why is yeast used over there? What is the exact chemical reaction happening out there? So many times you just forget to ensure that there is a proper chemical reaction happening in the food, which needs to be addressed to the children. And when that is missed, is where the holistic education is missed. How many times have you told your child, or as a parent who has learned physics or chemistry, that we really know what is physics? I had this very beautiful class of physics, and we had a hearty laughter, and I actually want to share this with you. So this child told me, ma'am, energy or, use of energy is when a action is happening or a movement is happening. So I think my mother doing work in the kitchen is, spending of energy. So I said, no, because your mother is not getting displaced from the house. So in physics, she is stable at one place. She's found only in the kitchen. So there is no use of energy. So there is no work done. We have a very clear definition for work in physics. Unless the displacement takes place, there is no work done. So since your mom is at the platform just there and there is no displacement, so there is no work done by your mom. But since your dad went to office, maybe he sat there and he didn't do anything. But since he got displaced from his house to the office, he did more work than mama did. This is physics, but do not apply it, because the truth is vice versa. And believe me, my children had a hearty laughter. Oh, ma'am, mama's going to cook 6, 7 dishes and you're trying to tell me that she did not work. I said, till she does not get the food to the table, she's not displaced herself from the kitchen, so there's no work done. So they said, okay, so mama, to prove that she's... So I said, obviously, till you see the food, you will say mama's not done work. But since dad went to office and he got tired because he displaced himself from home to work. So funny is physics, but where is the real life connection that we've shown for physics? Until you tell them this truth, that everything is so very well linked to your real life, and do not compartmentalize the teaching, we've done justice to our child, and where the NEP comes in and the subject integrations come in. I hope I have made myself clear on the subject integrations. And if there are still any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those. And I want to listen to what kind of questions people have when it comes to subject integrations before I move forward on further subject integrations. Are there any questions, participants? No questions? Moving forward from...
No question.
Okay. Moving forward from here, you will say, ma'am, okay, understood. A few subjects can be integrated here and there, and a few things can be done here and there. But still, the portion needs to be completed. I understand the portion needs to be completed. The child needs to go to the board exam. But if you've made the child self-sufficient, if the child's concept is clear, the teacher is ensured concept clarity. If the teacher is able to help the child summarize the concept in his or her own words and make the real life connections, do you think the child can crack the board exams? How many say a yes? But how many times do we know what is the exact concept we want to give? And here is where a lot of research is required by each one of us, whether we are a parent or we are a teacher. And what is that research that we look into? A very simple question I was asked when I went for a training. And they said, ma'am, you seem to be a principal of a school. So let us talk about SDGs. Everybody's talking about sustainability. Everybody's talking about sustainable future. So what is an SDG? So I had a lot of blank faces looking at me. So I said, sir, I know what is an SDG. It's a sustainable development goal. So he said, how many? So I said 17. And he asked me straightforward, which one do you belong to? And I was like, SDG 4. And he was like, ma'am, it is very nice you know it. But do you know really how to do it? And that ticked me. Do I really know how to give quality education to children? And that does not mean only to children who come to my school, people around me. Am I able to make teachers aware of what is required from them? And this quality education ensures that an integrated, holistic development is given to every child. And how many times have we gone ahead and pondered on this, that, okay, I may be a principal of a certain school, but how much have I contributed to the community apart from what I work at my school? How many times have I thought that if I see a slum around my house, why don't I spend a day, an hour or two, go down and give some knowledge which I have with me? And believe me, what is going to happen in the bargain? You get so much to learn. So much to learn. A very simple example happened with one of the teachers. This teacher was very enthusiastic to teach, and she wanted to teach Hindi. And she went ahead and went to the slums, and she said to these people, because she had very recently shifted to a new area. So she said, let's just do one thing. We are going to teach you Hindi. And those children were very excited because, Hindi is a subject everybody wants to learn. And, it can be very musical and it can be very practical. And yes, even NEP says that Hindi is something that everybody should learn. So these children were very excited. And this teacher started, doing a few rhymes of nouns and pronouns. And these children gave her a better poem. These children have their own jingles made in the slums, and believe me, those jingles are much better than what you would find in your textbooks. And this teacher converted herself to writing all those jingles that were used in the slums, and she realized she was able to do Hindi Vyakaran more better in her school. So she was like, ma'am, I thought मैं देने गई थी, but मैं तो बहुत कुछ लेके आई. And believe me, there is learning at every step. अगर हमारी सोच अच्छी है, तो I'm telling you, there is no end to giving and receiving in the end. When I take my parent orientations, I tell my parents, remember one thing. You have a lot of expectations from your students. In my very recent orientation to the parents, I said, what do you think are your children? Are they your property? You keep on telling them, you have to become a doctor. आपको ये करना है. आपको ऐसे ही जीना है. मैंने आपको बोला आपको ऐसे ही discipline रखना है. How many times we do that? And then you forget it's that child's life also. And there is a child who's going to someday give it back to you. हम तो भूल जाते हैं ना, because तब तो that child is your entire whole and soul property. And you want to live all your dreams through that child of yours. But remember, I don't know how many have experienced this, but I've seen this with my own eyes with so many families that I have come across in my life. And I learned this the harder way. Your child is your savings account. What you get, you will get it returned with interest. Believe me, your life is the same. And it's simple. What you give to the universe, it's going to just come back to you. And if you have this thought of giving to the universe, whatever little you have, like that Hindi teacher, she got an entire bank of Vyakaran for herself. आपको पता भी नहीं होगा वो खजाना कहाँ छुपा हुआ होगा. So many times we always feel, why is this RT child in your school? Believe me, through my 15 years in education, I had heard so many people saying that, why has the government given us this coal mine? What we are supposed to start digging diamonds from this coal mine? But believe me, I have seen beautiful diamonds flowering out of the RTE children who have won better scholarships and who have a better life today. What more than the Miss India who was so intelligent enough going to become a doctor, and she became the Miss Universe, and she's a child of an auto rickshaw person. And what kind of education did she get? There are so many examples in front of us, but then the everyday life that we go through just does not let us sink in. Think before you do something. And this is the time when NEP has come in. There are so many changes you want to do. The first thing that you can do is ensure that you do not do compartmentalization of your subjects and your children. The day the compartment is broken and we have the sync and integration of subjects, there's a lot of difference going to happen. And if there are any suggestions, they are more than welcome. If there's something that you have practically done for subject integration, I would really like to listen to an example before we go on to digital integration into education. That is the next part for today. Anybody who would like to share? Okay, sure. Now you will tell me, ma'am, why digital integration? We have ICT as a subject in CBSE. We have an ICT as a subject in ICSE, and so does the state board. Am I correct? But does that complete the future of digital integration into your subjects? How many of us knew that laparoscopy would be so evident, so quickly growing, and so welcomed into the medical field where there was only live people operating, and today robots do that laparoscopy? How many of us had even dreamt about it? Robotics in medicine? We never thought about it. The doctor is sitting somewhere. He or she is doing the operation through the computer, and the robot here has finished doing that operation, which would take anywhere between 15 to 25 stitches in just 5 stitches. Minimal invasive surgery. An entire guided robot enters your body, does the work, and comes out. Had we ever thought about it? So if you do ICT integration, is that enough? Here we are not talking about ICT when we talk digital integration. Here we are talking about educational technology. Let it be very, very clear, participants. And why I am saying it has to be coined as educational technology. ICT is something that the children will learn from a specialized teacher. They can learn very well what is Python. They can learn Oracle from a skilled teacher. But if that child knows how to use the coding to ensure that his subject of science, maths, and English can flourish, he as an author can flourish with robotics, he as a doctor can flourish with robotics, or he as a mathematician can flourish with robotics, is when educational technology has happened. And digital integration into education has happened. Even if you say that, ICT, so many apps we teach them, they have to learn so many apps. But if the child, through that app, can become a digital citizen, an aware digital citizen, how many times have we told them the darker side of the internet? I actually want to just throw a nice light out here, which I do in most of my sessions when I talk about digitalization. So many of us, just put your thumbs up when you listen to this question. There are so many WhatsApp groups who sell so many things to us, and we do buy from those groups. Am I correct? Yes? Yes? Now, how many times you have bought that one purse or something from that WhatsApp group, but you see that ad on Facebook, your Instagram channel, and on any Google ad that you're seeing? Has it happened to any one of us? Or maybe all of us? It's happened to all of us. Have you ever thought you bought it on WhatsApp? You just saw a picture posted by somebody and you wanted to buy that bag and you bought it on your WhatsApp. What is so irrelevant that ad comes even when you open your Amazon account or you open your Flipkart account and you have a suggestion of this buying over there? Any idea why? This is purely a part of artificial intelligence and gathering your data. There is a very smart thing in Facebook. If you go to settings and if you check offline activities, when you have Facebook app installed on your phone, it is very easy for Facebook now to read your WhatsApp also. How safe are we on the internet? And how many times we have shared our passwords and everything on WhatsApp? Just to our husband or wife, because you are in office, you're busy, and you said, okay, I'll just type my password and send it across. How many times have we realized that? That your data is being captured. This is true digital footprint, which now we see that you left on the dark side of the net. How many times you logged into any of the system in your office, but have you logged out? How many times a system prompted you, save password, you saved it and you're gone. And then all your data is exposed to somebody else. You've left digital footprints. It is my ardent request to all the parents. We may not know that every child's tablet asks for an adult email. When you give a tablet or a mobile to your child, so many times you don't know what the child is doing. Am I right? But there is a very simple way that I want to tell to all the parents. So you can keep a very close check on your children. And this is digital integration into your real life. Ensure for an adult email, you keep one email which you let your child use, which is your email. For sure, it should not be linked to your bank account. For sure, it should. But keep that parental email, log in to your child's mobile or tablet. Keep that as the primary email. And if it's a Gmail, you can just go to your manage Google account, or if it's a Microsoft account, again, just go to the settings where it says manage your Google account, and you will be able to see all the websites that your child has seen. You will be able to see the amount of minutes he has spent on YouTube and all the YouTube videos that he has watched. You will be able to understand what exactly your child learned through that digital gun that you gave in your child's hand. And this will ensure that you are not torturing your teenager. And especially this happens with those parents and teachers who have teenagers. And believe me, the Gen Z is very different. They want their privacy. They want their own things, their own way. The moment you try to enter their privacy, there will be a lot of things that they will hide from you. But why do you want to enter their privacy when you can do it very silently? So many times you start having arguments with your teenager, and then you are lost for words because the teenager is already quite aware of what is happening in the market. But how many times we as parents have uplifted ourselves and ensured that I am savvy than we anytime were, or we anytime will be. Moving forward from here, you will tell me, ma'am, but ICT, it helps in research also. It also develops presentation skills. Yes, agreed what ICT is going to do to your children. But is it going to help your children into professional development? Only becoming a research person is not important. But what kind of research? How is that research going to be utilized further? And is that research already obsolete. If you or the child cannot understand this, the entire research is futile. If that research cannot help any professional development, if that research does not help the child to grow, the entire research is futile. If your child can make a presentation, like we have a presentation today, and I told sir, I don't want to go in with any PPT, but I want my words to be heard. How many times our listening skills have overcome our visual skills? I'll give a simple example. So many times your child comes back from school and says, Papa, you know what, this technology, or Mama, you know what, this technology is now being introduced in my school. My school thought of giving me robotics, and my school is thinking, how many times, just because you don't know anything about it, have you said, I know how smart your school is. They will just to take money from me, they are being doing this. Parents, do we have this kind of an attitude so many times? And what happens in the end? The child is left in a place where he doesn't know. He's confused between the school and the parent. He's confused between the world that he's seeing, which is so tempting. He wants to get into those robotics thing. He wants to understand why this automation happened and what was so much that the school wanted to implement and invest into. And then, because his teacher is a better person to understand him, understanding that all educators need to be good counselors, he got a good teacher and he starts listening more to the teacher. And you're upset with the teacher, you're upset with the child. So it all begins with us. Parents, it's my humble request to you. Even if you don't know something, Google is the best place to go to, but the worst friend to tell you something. You need to know what is the truth on Google. Please ensure you use websites which are HTTPS enabled. What is the S? It is the security. It is your security and my security. How many times you would have visited now, though it has become very evident with Google security. You just type a website and it is not HTTPS enabled. You will see an open lock next to it on the URL. And Google will also inform you it is not safe to go to this website. And you don't know what to do. But there is a simple demarcation for this. So many times you think whom to ask, what to do. There are simple Microsoft cyber security free courses for you, parents and teachers. I would request, there is a beautiful website which I want to introduce to all of you today. Wizjuniors.com, WHIZJUNIORS. You can get your Google and Microsoft certification absolutely free of cost. You have a self-paced learning course in Google and Microsoft, and you can just go ahead and use this. Believe me, the website is made really well. Students and teachers have a lot of advantage when they go onto this website. And this is giving you the best of the computer courses for where you would spend anywhere between 7,000 to 15,000 free of cost. It's absolutely free of cost for you. And what you need to do is you need to do practicality for self-paced learning and getting your certificate. You just need to upload your video of practically using Excel, practically using a PowerPoint, practically using a Word or Google Sheets or Google Slides. And believe me, they have endless videos, endless times you can play it and understand digital integration into education, not just ICT. Moving forward from here, you will say, but ma'am, There are so many things like, opportunities for quiet learning in ICT. Yes, I say that quiet learning is very good. Like I just introduced the self-paced learning to you. It is so, so, so good for your child. So, so, so good for yourself. Because when you have time, you decide your learnings. But after the learning, if the child cannot communicate this, if the child cannot explain his or her digital learnings, educational technology has not happened. It is just ICT. That is the major difference. Moving forward from here, you would say, you know what, ma'am, any which ways we have to do the ICT and at least 1 or 2 chapters per week are done. There is enough space for the child to learn. But tell me, you are working with Gen Z. Where is the 21st century learning skills? Where are those learning skills where your child needs to know collaboration, group work, communication, parallel thinking, critical thinking, creative writing? Where are these skills? And if these skills do not come with ICT, they come with educational technology. Because ICT will develop skills, but education technology, the ed tech, will help your child implement and think out of the screen, get it connected to the real life. And that is the most important part of educational technology. Now you will tell me, ma'am, why are you emphasizing so much on this? And I want to ask here, parents, how many times your child made a project and you have been able to store it? He made a beautiful igloo out of the coconut shell, put it across with the cotton, and the beauty of that igloo, the kind of house in an Arctic Ocean, was right over there. But please tell me, have you been able to store that grade 3 and 4 project till your child came to college? No. A simple question I want to ask. We have so much written on the 1970 flu, the influenza which came in, the pandemic at that point in time. And there was history for us to go back to when we saw the corona pandemic. Do we have the manuscript and the data collated somewhere for the corona at easy reach of people? Do we have manuscripts already ready for a future pandemic? How many times a teacher has realized that a 3D model or a 2D model is not that important, but a scrapbook which can be stored in the library makes a better project-based learning because you've integrated the topic. You have pushed the child to creative writing. You've pushed the child to critical thinking as to how to sequence my process and how to sequence my project. And you store it in your library for your next journals to be put up. And your samples are created. But we forget and we feel scrapbook is old school. Make it an interactive scrapbook. And it's not old school. That is where your manuscripts get ready. That is where your data can be stored. So many times when I tell teachers, why do you want a project-based learning where the project needs to be shown? Can you not use the AV room? Can you not use your own classroom, which is so digitally enabled, and let the child do their work digitally, present their work digitally, have a script ready in front of them, ensure they are not looking at the slide and the slide is not having too much of matter but just points to ponder upon. And you have made a better public speaker of tomorrow. You've created a better orator of tomorrow. And how many times we forget this? No, ma'am, we need a project to be shown. But where is our digital database, which can so easily be stored? And this is the future, because your child who wants to be an entrepreneur, we saw Shark Tank India. So many people need to show their public speaking skills to sell their product. How many times have you told the child the self-value he or she carries? How many times you have told? How many times you have told the child he's more valuable than the project? We just get upset the moment the thing is not done. I have seen recent PT. So many times we have just seen that what is not important is also taken care of. But if you as a parent does not emphasize on the marks, but at least try and find out, did the child learn something in the bargain? Yes, believe me, there is learning happening. And since I close this, I want every parent present here to listen to this story, which I listened from one of my mentors, and it touched my heart. And from that day, as a parent, I have ensured that I would never compare my child to anybody. But yes, ensure that I help my child to grow to the fullest, keeping in mind digital and subject integration in life. I want to just, one simple question and a very simple story. There was this new couple who shifted to a new building. And like we have in today's, towers, 4 flats on one floor. And they had somebody staying absolutely opposite. And this parent always used to see the child sitting on the table and playing chess. And this person who had shifted with his family, one small baby boy and the mother, and the parent himself was a chess player at district level. So the father was very flabbergasted. Oh, such a small child, just grade 4 and 5, full days playing chess. And he had already invested money for the past 2 years on his child. So what happened is he goes ahead and plays chess with that child, and the child actually happened to win against this district player. So he comes back home, he's fuming, he screams, he throws tantrum at his own child. And the mother of the other child is watching this. And he's keeping on telling his child, full day you want to play in the playground, just stay there in the playground, don't come home, be in the garden only. And this mother couldn't stop herself. So she walks down to their house and she says, can you please stop tormenting the child like this? I want to show you something at my house. And she takes the father to her house and removes the covering that the child was having on his body and says, my child does not have legs. Is the only reason why he plays chess every day. Why do you want your child to do that? And believe me, this ticked the mother in me. I have a better child than anybody else. My child plays, my child smiles, and I don't know why, but I am proud to be a mother of the child that I am. And the day we all take this in our hands, my child is my child, and my child is unique and does not need anything else. He needs a holistic world from me, and I need to give him a complete ear. Your ears to your children, and they will be better hires. HEIR to you. So that saving bank, what you invest is what you will get back. With that, I rest my discussion for today, Bedkar sir. And thank you, participants, for so calmly listening to me.
Thank you so much, madam, for the wonderful presentation. Now I request dear participants, if you have any query, please come ahead and discuss with Honorable Jina madam. You are most welcome.
May I speak?
Yes, please.
Yes, madam.
I
Welcome.
don't have queries as such, but I would like to point out that Madam's explanation today was excellent. It was really very engaging and interesting throughout that I could not even move an inch thinking about any other work. In fact, I have my papers in front of me. I just dropped everything and I was so engrossed into listening. And the explanation, Madam, I must say, you're excellent orator yourself.
Oh, thank you so much.
And the way every minute details were being discussed, I'm sure parents have got a lot to learn here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was a wonderful session. Although I joined a little bit late, I regret that I joined a bit late here today.
Thank you.
That would really be great. Thank you so much.
Dr. Swanand Shukla has raised his hand. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Dr. Bedkar sir, Principal sir, Prashant sir, and good evening, ma'am. Wonderful presentations. And the topic is very interesting because it is a part of a day-to-day life. And definitely, it has some importance. Some importance is there. And what I feel, that the gadgets and the tools are very important for us. But on one side, we are saying that when we are giving it to the children or the students and they are using it, yes, definitely there will be some kind of what we can say misuse also of those gadgets and instruments. And very important thing is, to show the direction, how to use them and where to use them correctly, right?
Yes.
So that is very important, what you said correctly.
Yes.
But I feel, if on children and students, if we start keeping watch and policing them, many of the times it happens that they are not doing the things in front of us. They will be doing it behind our back.
Yes.
So that is very much there. But I think we have to develop that understanding, what is right and what is correct to use. Like a scissor, when we can use it for operation also, and we can use it to stab someone.
Yes.
So we have to let them, we should know, they should know about this. And very important thing is, if you are not doing policing, maybe, these people, students I had seen, they're using it in a very different manner, and something very, very innovative comes in front of us also.
Yes.
Usually, we try to limit them not to do this, not to do that. Yes, definitely. And one point, what you said correctly is a digital. We are going in a world, but we should have our verbal competency and writing competency. We have to cultivate, as well as we should go to the outside. And very important thing, what I learned is students are just gathering information from these gadgets and they're using it. What I feel, we should meditate and then we should reflect these kind of points, when we are using them. It should not be direct use of that gadget and directly we are putting, so it becomes plagiarism or IPR, and we should make them aware, from very childhood steps that this is not your material, your work out on that, and then you build something else on that. So that is what I feel. One thing, what I was telling you, whether the policing is really required or we should not go for policing. What do you think about this, ma'am?
Sir, I would never encourage any parent to do direct policing. Like I said, you log in, you give them a gadget, it will need to require an adult login. Please do not encourage your children to do fake logins wherein they, they will use your name, your date of, they will use your date of birth, but their name. Don't do it. Give them an account, a parent account, which you can check. And believe me, if you talk positive about the digital world, but make them aware of the darkness which you have seen, they will be more aware than we are. I have seen changes in my own students.
Yeah, definitely, ma'am. What you have said correctly. I belong to medical field and medical college. I am dealing with the medical students are there. Once we restricted mobile use in the campus and we put a jammer and other things, but it doesn't work. People can go to other places also and they can have the things. So we just moved the jammer. But the positive point, what I could see, we should see the positive part only every time. So what I could see, people were using this various apps and various kinds of clinical notes and other aspects. So I felt, I was doing some kind of injustice with those students. So I think that is a better way to let them understand what is right and what is good, bad. So
And
that is
always, sir, like I said, they are never not ready to listen to us. It's like a savings bank account when we are doing any kind of work with our children. And be it as a parent or as a teacher, it is very important to understand what we've invested in them. And the moment you know your investment is correct, the output is going to be correct. It's simple, like a ball pen spring, which we try to hold it, and it just falls off. But the moment it falls off, you don't know where exactly it's gone. And do not do that to your children. The more you squeeze them, the more you say, oh, no, they want to explore that dirt. But make them aware of that, the darker side of the net, and they will not be required to get into something which is not required.
Yeah, perfect, ma'am. A few days back, I think months back, there were some kind of games and people were playing it. We had to answer it, and people, made suicide. People killed some people, or they have trapped in some other business. So these are the things, we had to take care of. No doubt about this. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your wonderful, enlightening, speech. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes. Yeah.
Good evening.
Good.
I'm Dr. Suma. Even I am teaching in an engineering college.
Okay.
And what you said is rightly, because we say it is a digital world. But most of us, we take it in a wrong way. We ask students to make it totally digitalized. So even when I ask them to deliver presentation, I always tell that digital is not for you people, the audience who is going to look at it. So you should have your own digital where you are going to frame everything in your mind, and then you are not making entirely. So I really liked your point, because this is what today everybody, they are so habituated. Even when I ask them to calculate something, the moment you ask for something, they use calculator.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
so because they feel this is digital, so
Yes.
why I need to use my brains here. So I think that's rightly what you said.
Like you said, I did this with a few of my grade 12 children. They have this liberty in CBSE schools and ICSE schools to use calculators and all. So I said, just think about it. You've gone trekking, and you can only carry a certain amount of stuff with you. And your battery is going to be limited because you need to keep that battery with you. So then what? How are you intelligently going to use your gadget, your battery, and your time? And is where it ticked them. Oh, yeah, if I go trekking. And then these medical students who have rural internships, I said, what are you going to do if you are given limited electricity and you are going to have to limit yourself to using what is with you? Until you don't tick this thought in them, they think everything is going to be easily available. And we created night stays at school wherein, they would have limited access to electricity. They would have limited access. Because today, a few things which were luxury when we were small, I'm sure I'm talking to a crowd which is anywhere between the age of 35 and 45. And where AC also was a luxury. Having a four-wheeler in your house was a luxury. Having a color TV at our childhood was a luxury. But all those things become a necessity today until we don't talk to them. How many times have we spoken our mistakes to our children? And this is the transparency we need to keep in the world, whether we are teaching. I tell my children, these have been my marks. But yes, I aspire to see students who can get 95. Why? Because the world is that way. At my age, when we were small, our cutoff was 92 and we were happy. We didn't have people who got 100% and 99%. But ICSE has created that. But till you speak to the child and show them the darker side and show them the other side, because we always have shown the coin like this. The child saw from here and I saw it from here. Let's flip it once.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Suma.
Ma'am, very correctly you pointed out, we are taking our students of NSS to Palsan. It is a very tribal area of Surgana, Nasik district.
Yes.
And there is no mobile range, nothing is there.
Yes.
And we make them reside within those communities for 7 days and try to, we try to learn their what kind of lifestyle they are having. By 8:30 they are they are sleeping, and by 5:30 or maybe 5 o'clock they are getting up.
Yes.
And still they are having a lot of satisfaction, happiness with them. So that is a very good, and mind you, there are so many scarcities, like water problem is there. We have to carry water since, for quite a long distance. The electricity goes and disappears now and then. And still these people are so happy.
Yes.
And I think that students realizes that importance, I think, that within that 7 days. And they learn the art of cooking and all the things. These are the rest of the things. But I think very important part is, from digital to the village areas also we have to take them.
Yes.
Changing their environment makes a lot of difference in their
Yes.
life. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
I think there is no participant now to ask a question.
मैम
Now I move
हमारे
to-
तो मैम
Yes,
हमारे
sir,
तो
please.
प्रशांत सर, सॉरी मैं बीच में इंटरप्ट कर दूं। मैं यूट्यूब पे लाइव में सुन रहा था मैम का, और मैम ने बहुत सारी बातों को जो आज सचमुच में एक नई जानकारी, आज मुझे एक नए विषय के साथ जुड़ने का अवसर मिला। हमारे तरफ नेटवर्क की समस्याएं थी मैम, इसलिए मैं प्रत्यक्ष रूप से आपके पास नहीं आ पाया, मैं क्षमा चाहूंगा इसके लिए। और दूसरी बात की बेदकर सर को मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं, क्योंकि इतने वर्ल्ड सीरीज रिकॉर्ड चलवा रहे हैं, और ये यज्ञ में हर दिन मैं जुड़ता ही हूँ। प्रयास ये भी होता है, कभी कभी हमारे तरफ नेटवर्क की समस्याएं होती है तो मैं यूट्यूब पे ही जुड़ जाता हूँ अक्सर। मगर आज मुझे लगा कि साक्षात हमारे सामने मातृतुल्य मैम जुड़ी हैं और मैं प्रत्यक्ष रूप से ना आऊं तो ये कहीं ना कहीं गुस्ताखी ही होगी। प्रशांत सर का प्रत्येक दिन का ये संचालन, बेदकर सर का ये प्रत्येक दिन अध्यक्षता करना, और आप जैसे लोग जब आते हैं तो कुछ ना कुछ नया सीखने को और जानने को भी मिलता है। और मैं पटना बिहार से जुड़ा हुआ हूँ, मैं पत्रकारिता का विद्यार्थी हूँ, और मैं भी खुद डिजिटल पे ही काम भी कर रहा हूँ, इसी वर्क के सिलसिले में भी व्यस्त भी हूँ। मगर मैं कान में एयरफोन लगाकर मैं सारा आपका जो बातें था मैं सुन पा रहा था, और मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। कई सारे पॉइंट्स है जो नोट करने लायक भी हैं। मैं क्या कहूँ, मेरे पास शब्द ही नहीं है। मगर सबसे बड़ी बात है आपका बताने का जो तरीका था वो एक लग ही नहीं रहा था कि जो आपके नाम के साथ एक प्रिंसिपल जुड़ा हुआ है, और इस तरह से आप बता रही हैं जिसे मैं घर का बच्चा होकर समझा रही हैं, ये मेरे लिए बहुत अच्छा लगा। क्योंकि ये सबसे बड़ी बात है ना कि आपसे एक चीज तो जरूर मुझे सीखने को मिला कि कोई भी काम पोस्ट और पद को देकर हटा दिया जाए तो फ्रेंडली जब किया जाता है तो बहुत मजा आता है वो काम को करने में। उसी तरीके से आपने आज यहाँ पे समझाया है, और मैं उस रिकॉर्डिंग को मैंने शेयर भी किया है, सिर्फ अपने चौपाल में मैंने अभी नहीं डाल पाया हूँ, किन्हीं का कॉल आ गया था, मैंने सारे जगह उसे शेयर किया। क्योंकि आपके बताने का मैंने उसमें लिखा है कि आपने जो जिस तरीके से एकदम मृदुभाषी आकर हंसते हुए जिस तरीके से स्माइल के साथ अपने मतलब इंटरेक्ट किया लोगों के बीच में, इतने अच्छे से समझाया, ये बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे मैम। सबसे जरूरी चीज ये था जो मुझे एक सीखने के लिए मिला। बहुत बहुत आभार मैम।
Thank you so much.
Sharan Basappa sir would like to ask. He has raised his hand. Please. Sir.
Good evening, madam.
Sharan
Good
Basappa.
evening.
Yes, sir.
Integral world in all of the subject, integral wants who have can make use of it in human world. Madam, yes.
Sir, please repeat your question.
Digital world in all the subject in integral fonts. Who can use of it in human world?
Yes. In the if I'm not mistaken, you are asking digital in every subject, but can we really use it in the human world? Is that the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Tell me today where technology is not there. So today, if you see your simple refrigerator, it has technology. You see your simple radio, they are much better than the radios of tomorrow. We talk about Alexa. I can control my entire house at my own one single word. Switch off the lights of the house. Switch off the main fuse of the house, and Alexa is ready. These are the smart homes which are coming in. But if you do not know to encrypt your Wi-Fi of the house, if you do not know to create a strong password for the Wi-Fi of your house, if you do not know where and who is using your Wi-Fi of the house, you are endangering yourself by not understanding where technology is used. It starts with your home, sir, and it starts with your mobile. It is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
simple. So yes, technology now is everywhere. Like I told sir, that the simplest thing I want to tell, आप सोचते हैं ना कि आपने बाय कर दिया. मैं एक और चीज आपको बताती हूँ. आप गूगल खोलते हैं, you have your Chrome open on your mobile, and you're trying to search something. Simple thing you have searched. Believe me, sir, you will see an ad of this. You go onto any website. You will see a suggestion to buy the same thing on Amazon, Flipkart, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You will see an ad of this on any website that you go. And this is the simplest thing called digital footprint. और आपको पता है आप उसको खुद yes बोलते हैं. I will tell you today. We all accept cookies immediately. पढ़ते नहीं है. Accept all. एक बार उसमें जाके देखिए आप क्या क्या शेयर कर रहे हैं. A few websites are very good. They ask you what you want to share and what you don't want to share. Then you feel your entire email is jammed. You cannot send and receive emails. And you're thinking, इतने email आए कहाँ से? मैंने तो कुछ भी subscribe नहीं किया. नहीं sir, the moment you accepted the cookies, that fine print. जैसे LIC policies पहले लेते थे और mediclaims लेते थे ना, fine print is very important. In the digital world, the cookies print is very important. So yes, digitalization is there in every aspect of life.
In the library, how can?
In the library, the best way is to track the record of who is reading what. You will come to know your children so well. What are the likings and the dislikings of your children? Keep a database open where you know that through this digital, pehle libraries did not have apps. So you could not see which genre is read more by which child. It will also give you an opportunity to understand who are your avid readers, and avid readers are very good orators. Avid readers are good presenters, and they have very good vocabulary. They are better content creators.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Madam, would you say something about the curriculum integration?
Yeah, like I said, curriculum integration, it is very, very important. I'll give a very small example over here. When we integrate subjects and we integrate digitalization, I always tell my teachers, it is very difficult to teach history and geography, my teachers will say. And I ask them a very simple concept. Why so many battles fought at Panipat? So my history teacher is like, because they fought at Panipat. I said, darling, that is not the answer. Please go and check your history. The simplest answer to this is because of the geographical conditions of Panipat. And we never understood this. We didn't have an answer. Second thing, there was this teacher from ICSE who told me, ma'am, the curriculum of history is very vast. I said, I finished curriculum in 6 months. For me, history has never been vast. I've been an SST teacher and I love doing SST with kids. And the simplest thing that I do, they have so many revolutions in grade 6. Grade 7, they have so many empires. Why do you want to teach every revolution separately? How many of us have always scored and distinguished between? Everybody. The moment it gets into a table, you score better. I told teachers, teach history in tables. Get it imprinted in their brains. Tell them to make a digital presentation. On one PowerPoint slide, a 5x5 table suffices very nicely. And on that slide, they can have the empires, kingdoms, or revolutions at the top. The common factors, the economy, the agriculture, the kind of utensils, the kind of industrializations they saw. And the moment you have a comparative study, your child will pat tell you, ma'am, this revolution, this economy, that revolution, this economy. And ma'am, this was the kind of industries that flourished. What more do you want? And the moment you've included agriculture over there, they know the geographical conditions behind their back. And what
yes,
are we
madam.
waiting?
Yes.
And why do you want to discriminate and make the curriculum vast? जबकि दुनिया तो इतनी छोटी हो गई है डिजिटलाइजेशन से. बेटकर सर ने तो हम सबको पता नहीं कहाँ से ढूंढ लिया है. What more better than this example where Betkar sir has created already one record, on the way to create a second one, and brings such a variety on this platform. I don't think this kind of variety is on any other platform. Sir, a huge thank you to you.
Sir, in curriculum integration, there are horizontal integration and vertical integration, but our Dr. Betkar sir have made spiral integration.
Spiral, circular, spherical.
So many faculties and so many people and so many subjects, different subjects, it is like a bouquet, he always present in front of us.
Yes.
A lot of thanks to him. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I request the chief organizer of the series and the ideal principal of Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya Ausa, Honorable M. Betkar sir. Sir, please come ahead and we have some words for today's session. Please welcome.
Sure. Sure, sir. Thank you so much, Petka, sir. And thank you all the participants. Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now it's time to vote of thanks. Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya Ausa, District Latur, is organized World Record Series 2. Today we have covered 238th day of the session. And the topic for today's presentation was Need for Digital and Subject Integration, which are presented by Honorable Jigna Khoyani Madam. Where Madam have explained what does the subject in learning, its types and purpose of subject integration, talked about the educational technology and what is the need for the digital learning and the meaning of the importance of digital learning. What you have covered in your lecture, Madam, you talked in a very simple language and simply you said all those things, brought all those details in front of us. Really, we were enthusiastic to listen to your lecture again. Thank you for your valuable time in the series. So again, you present. We expect that one more lecture your side. We would like to listen here after time. So thank you so much. I thank the chief organizer of the series, Detkar sir. I thank the faculty members of my college, Dr. Kale sir, Anita Dole madam, Honorable Praveen Udge sir, and others. Also thanks Raj Purohit ma'am, Dr. Swanand Shukla sir, Dr. Sumash, Dr. Sharan Sappa sir. Asked the also share some views in the series. So thanks to you. On screen, I was seeing some faces like Dr. Shah ma'am, Sarika Sarvesh ma'am, and others. And at last, I thanks to all. Now I request all the participants please the link this is over. Thank you so much to you all once again. Thank you, ma'am, Jigna madam, for the wonderful presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sure, sure. Yes, yes. Thank you, sir. I'll log out now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night. No, it's my pleasure to have such a wonderful resource persons, and it is the greatness of you, sir. You always point out this, but nothing to worry, sir. But I think very interesting sessions we are having. Very interesting sessions. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sonu Kumar. Thank you, Chetna.
एवढे लोकांना सांगता एवढे नाही. ग्रेट सर थैंक यू.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर. आज बहुत ही अच्छा लग रहा था जब YouTube पर मैं देख रहा था मैम का बताने का पूरा एकदम जिस तरीके से वो बता रही थी, तो मुझे एक चीज याद आ गया कि पहले जब मैं क्लास में था तो मुझे जिस तरह से मैम इतना प्यार से समझाती थी, बहुत जब कुछ बातें समझ में नहीं आती थी तो लग रहा था कि मैं किसी क्लास में बैठकर मैं उनका सुन रहा हूँ। जब मैंने उनका फेस देखा तो फेस जो बताने का तरीका था, बॉडी लैंग्वेज जिसको कहा जाए, तो वो बताने का तरीका इतना अच्छा लगा सर, इतना अच्छा लगा। जैसे अगर इनके जैसा हर जगह प्रिंसिपल हो और इस तरीके से बताने, जैसे देखिए होता क्या है, अभी छात्रों के साथ अगर आप डांट कर थोड़ा बोल दीजिए, ये तो मैं तो टीचर नहीं हूँ सर, मगर मैंने जो देखा एक अनुभूति किया है, अब बाकी तो आप प्रिंसिपल नहीं, बात को देखते भी होंगे। अगर किसी को डांट कर बोल दीजिए स्टूडेंट को, तो वो बच्चा समझता नहीं है, लेकिन आप उसे जब उससे प्यार से समझाते हैं आज के डेट में, तो आप वो देखिए बच्चा अच्छा करेगा। उसे एक फ्रेंडली जब बनाकर रखिएगा तो वो अच्छा एक ट्रैक पर जाने का प्रयास करता है। तो मैम का जो बताने का जब लहजा मैंने सुना, तो मुझे तो पहले विषय समझ में आ भी नहीं रहा था कि अरे ये विषय को मैं ट्रांसलेट किया कि आखिर है ये क्या। जब मैंने उसे पढ़ा तो मैं एक कतर का कार्यक्रम चल रहा था सर, आपका के गुड़गांव की एक VC मैम है, निरुपमा प्रकाश मैम, उनका कार्यक्रम चल रहा था। वो VC हैं आपके यूनिवर्सिटी इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज की, वहाँ इन गुड़गांव हरियाणा की। तो उनका कार्यक्रम में था, तो मैंने उन्हें बताया कि मैम मैं